Hi, thank you for joining me for another edition of Insight from my book, where we explore ideas that strengthen our leadership, deepen our understanding, and inspire us to become wiser citizens in an ever changing world. Whether you are joining us from New York or California, Texas or Florida, Alaska or Hawaii, or from American communities serving, studying, working, or living abroad, I am honored to have you with us today. My name is Reverend Dr. Clarence R. Pearson, Sr. I am a pastor, researcher, leadership consultant, public policy observer, and author with a passion for helping individuals, communities, institutions, and nations grow through wisdom, ethical leadership, responsible citizenship, and informed decision making. Today, I would like to share another important insight from my latest book, Neither Left Nor Right: The Battle for America's Democratic Soul. Our focus today comes from Chapter 2, Identity Politics and the Shifting American Psyche. The central lesson of this chapter is both timely and deeply personal. When political identity becomes our primary identity, we begin to lose sight of our shared American identity. We all have multiple identities. Every one of us carries multiple identities. We are sons and daughters, parents and grandparents, veterans and first responders, teachers, pastors, entrepreneurs, farmers, healthcare workers, engineers, and students. We belong to neighborhoods, communities, faith traditions, professions, and cultures. These identities enrich us. They shape our experiences. They help us understand the world. The problem begins when one identity becomes so dominant that it overshadows every other part of who we are. When our political identity becomes more important than our civic identity, when party loyalty becomes greater than national loyalty, when ideology determines how we view every issue, then something profound begins to change within us. Politics no longer becomes something we participate in, it becomes who we are. Identity politics is about more than politics. Identity politics is often misunderstood. It is not simply politics based on race, religion, ethnicity, gender, geography, or social class. At its deepest level, identity politics occurs whenever people begin organizing their entire worldview around membership in a particular group. That group may be political, it may be religious, it may be cultural, it may even be ideological. Once identity becomes the primary lens through which we see the world, every disagreement begins to feel personal. Criticism feels like an attack. Compromise feels like surrender. Dialogue becomes increasingly difficult. The goal shifts from understanding one another to defending our tribe. The psychology of us versus them. Human beings naturally seek belonging. It is one of our deepest psychological needs. Communities provide security, families provide identity, nations provide shared purpose. Political parties were never intended to replace these deeper forms of belonging. Yet increasingly, politics has become the place where many people seek identity, meaning, and even moral validation. When this happens, our brains begin sorting people into two simple categories: us and them. Those who agree with us are assumed to be trustworthy. Those who disagree are viewed with suspicion. Over time, stereotypes replace understanding, labels replace conversations, assumptions replace curiosity. The result is polarization, not simply in politics, but in relationships, workplaces, churches, schools, and communities. The role of media. One reason this shift has accelerated is the transformation of our information environment. Never before have Americans had access to so much information. Yet never before has it been so easy to avoid perspectives different from our own. Television, podcasts, social media, streaming platforms, algorithms quickly learn what we like. Then they give us more of it. Gradually, we begin living inside information bubbles. We hear familiar voices, read familiar opinions, see familiar interpretations. Without realizing it, our world becomes smaller, not because information is unavailable, but because our exposure becomes increasingly selective. Healthy democracies require informed citizens, not merely well informed tribes. What happens when we lose a shared national story? For generations, Americans disagreed politically while still sharing a larger national story. They believed in constitutional government. They believed in peaceful elections. They believed in equal citizenship under the law. They believed that despite disagreements, America belonged to all Americans. Today, that shared narrative has weakened. Increasingly, different groups describe completely different versions of the nation's past, its present, and its future. Without a shared story, shared sacrifice becomes harder, shared trust declines, shared purpose disappears, and democracy itself begins to struggle. Because democracy depends upon something deeper than elections. It depends upon citizens believing they still belong to the same national family. Why this matters today. This chapter matters because America cannot remain united if Americans lose the ability to see one another beyond politics. We can disagree over immigration, healthcare, taxes, education, foreign policy, public spending, or constitutional interpretation. Those debates are healthy, but when disagreement causes us to deny one another's humanity, or patriotism, or right to belong, we move from political competition towards civic fragmentation. America has always been diverse. That diversity has been one of its greatest strengths. The challenge has never been diversity itself. The challenge has always been maintaining unity within diversity. That remains our responsibility today. 3 questions for reflection. This week, I encourage you to ask yourself 3 simple questions. 1. Do I define people primarily by their political affiliation or by their character? 2. Am I intentionally listening to thoughtful voices that challenge my own assumptions? 3. Is my identity rooted more deeply in being an American citizen than in belonging to a political party? These questions are not designed to weaken conviction. They are designed to strengthen wisdom. Strong convictions and open minds can coexist. Healthy democracies require both. Why I wrote this chapter. I wrote this chapter because I believe America's greatest strength has never been uniformity. It has always been unity amid extraordinary diversity. The United States is home to people from every continent, every major faith tradition, every ethnic background, every economic class, every political philosophy. The miracle of America has never been that we are alike. The miracle has been that we have learned, however imperfectly, to live together under one constitution. That miracle deserves our protection. Identity should enrich our citizenship. It should never replace it. In closing, let's quickly review today's insight. Today, we learned 1. Every person possesses many identities beyond politics. 2. Political identity becomes dangerous when it replaces civic identity. 3. Identity politics often transforms disagreement into personal conflict. 4. Media and technology can unintentionally reinforce division through information bubbles. 5. America depends upon a shared national story that is larger than any political movement. 6. Our common citizenship must always remain stronger than our partisan affiliations. When these principles guide our lives, political diversity becomes a strength rather than a threat, communities become more resilient, and democracy becomes healthier. If today's insight has been meaningful to you, I encourage you to get a copy of my book, Neither Left Nor Right: The Battle for America's Democratic Soul. The book is available through Amazon and other major online booksellers. Simply search for my name, Clarence R. Pearson, to discover this and my other published works. After reading the book, I encourage you to leave an honest review to help other readers discover this important conversation. I would also be honored if you would follow my Amazon author page to stay informed about future books, leadership resources, civic education materials, and new releases. Before you go, please follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Together, we can strengthen civic responsibility, promote respectful dialogue, rebuild trust across our communities, and preserve the democratic values that unite us as one nation. I have been your presenter, Reverend Dr. Clarence R. Pearson, Sr., helping you transform knowledge into wisdom, conviction into character, and citizenship into impact. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Insight from my book. Until next time, remember, political parties may shape our opinions, but our shared citizenship should shape our future. America is strongest when we see one another first as fellow citizens, not as opposing tribes. God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.